Hi, this is Courtney, and this is a brief summary of things to help teachers as they are teaching yoga classes or going out to teach. And this is for my current group. So the first is teach what you know. If you're comfortable doing a posture yourself and you know the mechanics of it, then it's fine to teach that as long as you know how to keep people safe and modify. But if you do not, you should not be teaching that posture. So don't get out there and try to be all fancy because you feel like you need to teach something like King Dancer, but you don't know how to do King Dancer and you don't even practice it. Just teach what you know and what you're comfortable with. Secondly, it is about them. Teach to the people in front of you. It is not about you. It is not your time to practice. It is not your time to show the world everything you're good at. It is for you to help the person in front of you. So you want to have need-to-know information about them. If there's something major going on with them, like they're pregnant, they have high blood pressure or glaucoma, you need to know how to teach to that person. So you need to know your modifications and your safety. And if you don't know when you're watching this, find a good teacher who can help you with that. Thirdly is you want to include pranayama, asana, and meditation, and you want to include appropriate. So a brand new student, you might teach basic belly breathing too, but you're probably not going to teach alternate nostril to a brand new student. Eventually, if it's a class you've been teaching for a while and everyone is familiar, then you might begin to add alternate nostril. So you want to be kind of appropriate in what you're teaching them so you don't overwhelm them and they don't feel defeated. It's very important that people do not feel defeated when they leave your class. Asana, if you have a group of beginners, you're going to teach the basics, and that would mean things like down dog, all fours, cat, cow, seated spinal twist, lateral leans, very basic postures that are the foundational postures for the more advanced postures. You do not want to teach advanced intermediate postures to people who are brand new. And you want to include appropriate meditation. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. A bell curve method. You want to stay on a bell curve method with a beginning, a middle, and an end. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a hard class. It might be a more challenging class, but it would have a beginning that was a transition from the outer world, everything that's going on out in their life, to being on their mat. It would include warming up their body for safety, some opening pranayama, getting them settled in, breathing, getting them into their body mentally. And it might be a gentle class where there was going to be, maybe a little bit deeper asana, or maybe you're going from sitting on the floor, opening joint postures, then half full sun salute, standing, balancing, back down to the floor through possibly down dog, squat, and then seated, doing like a forward fold and a half Lord of the Fishes, half seated spinal twist, and then maybe to the back for a bridge and a twist, and then ending with a nice long shavasana and meditation. So modify. I apologize if you hear Mr. Puppy in the background. I live on a farm. If you watch my videos, you know we have 12 animals and it's never quiet. So modify, you want to modify for the people in front of you. And I don't even know if I would use the word modify anymore. I just say options. So I might say modify, but here's an option. Let's start in plank with our knees down. So if someone has wrist issues, it might even be forearms and knees. And then if you feel comfortable with that as an option, you can raise your knees. Then you want to say to them, you want to give them lots of options. So if it hurts, this is number 6. If it hurts, don't do it. Breathe. Listen to your body. I've had some pretty advanced, experienced teachers say to me, well, if they'd listened to their body, they wouldn't be in this shape. I just think that's nonsense. And the reason is because, we're all guilty. We get busy. We get crazy busy. We eat bad. We do things we shouldn't do. We're all human. I'm not going to dumb down and teach people as if they are not smart enough to know their own bodies. Yes, some people are not self-aware, but if you say to them, listen to your body, if it hurts, don't do it, that helps bring about awareness. And that's what we're there to do. 7 is don't shortchange Shavasana. Shavasana is the reason you're doing pranayama and asana is to prepare the body for stillness. And yoga from the Yoga Sutras is the stilling of the mind. So if you open up to the first part of the Yoga Sutras, it's going to say the practice of yoga is stilling the mind. I would also add it is to relieve suffering. So the reason we've been doing all of the other stuff is to bring the awareness into the body and to bring an inner outer awareness. So we don't want to shortchange Shavasana. For new folks, it might include a guided meditation and then a period of quiet. Let them know that there's a period of quiet and what that's going to be like. Give them some, instructions. What are you supposed to do? Why aren't we laying on the floor? Well, all you need to do is rest. Just observe the states of the mind if you like, or rest. There's nothing to do, nowhere to go. Try not to judge it. Sometimes some people are able to just rest, maybe fall asleep. We don't necessarily encourage that, but sometimes they fall asleep. Or they may be able to just, their mind may begin to go into the squirrel cage. If that's the case, just let them know that it's okay just to watch the mind. You're not your thoughts. You have thoughts, but you're not your thoughts. You are the sum total of the actions that you have, but not necessarily your thoughts. So give them some instruction. Don't shortchange Shavasana. So make sure they're comfortable. Be loving and caring and kind when they walk in the door. Hi, my name is Courtney, and I'm so glad you're here today. Let's have you sign a waiver here, and let me tell you about this waiver. Your shoes and purse can go over here, and there's a mat over there for you. You can go have a seat. We'll get you a block. You can sit on a blanket if it makes you more comfortable. Here's the props. Here's what we need. And and by the way, this is Jan, and she's our neighbor. She'll be your neighbor today, and so I'll let you guys meet. You want to make them as comfortable as possible. It's not just about the asana, pranayama, and meditation, or even the philosophy. When you get in there, you're trying to help them be comfortable. Then you want to remember, this is number 9 on my list, you don't have to say all the things. I want to say all the things all the time. It's very hard for me not to say all the things. I want you to know all the things. I want you to have all the information. And sometimes my students, I'm like, am I overwhelming you? And they'll be like, yes, you're overwhelming me. And I tell them, okay, it's very hard for me not to say all the things. So just know if you get 1 or 2 things from me today from this lesson, that eventually you'll get a lot more of the things. And I have to watch myself to not say all of the things all of the time, because it can actually overwhelm people. So when you're going into a posture, the breathing, the cueing, the options or modifications are important. Then if you need to add something philosophical or benefit to a pose, great. But just remember that you don't have to just be shooting out directions constantly. You need to give them some time to linger and be in the posture or the meditation or the breath without them hearing you fire off like a drill just going, 90 miles an hour. So, and I will tell you that is one of my challenges. Lastly is, and this kind of goes along with everything else, is be of service. You're there to be of service to the people. It's not about you. It's not about your practice or your playlist. Though you may create something that you like, your job is to be of service. And Satchitananda is the lineage of where I work, but my lineage is Krishnamacharya, but I've also studied Satchitananda's teachings. And what he says is when we are of service to others, they will take care of us. And if we remember that, we should have our own practice. And so when we go in to teach, like I have a whole bunch of music at work, but I generally use one type of music that is gentle background music. There's no Sanskrit or words, because that would probably scare my folks off. These are Southern people generally who have no experience with yoga. They're kind of freaked out about it. And in some cases, they've been told some crazy things about yoga. So I go in there with very just kind of background ambient music, and I don't use any kind of frou-frou language. I think about how can I meet these people where they are and how can I help them? It's not about me. So I hope that's helpful to you. Thank you so much for your time, and have a wonderful day.